What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about February 28th, Saturday games, and we're going to speed run through every game. Maybe give like 2 reasons why I picked this and that. It's going to be spread picks, all right? The first game we're going to talk about is my team, Duke Blue Devils versus Virginia. Duke will be hosting Virginia at home. Currently, the spread is 9.5. Duke just beat Michigan. I watched that whole game. Duke played a phenomenal game. Never doubted them. Now they're at home. They're the number one right now. They're going to want to keep it. They're going to cover the spread against Virginia. I get it. Virginia is great. Both of these two teams are 9-1 last 10. However, Duke is 7-3 last 10 covering the spread. Virginia is 4-6 last 10 covering the spread. Duke is better at the field goal percentage. And also on top of that, the steals, Duke is better. I think Duke will pressure them. Being at home, the crowd advantage. Duke is going to pressure, make the Virginia players turn over the ball and score. Cam Boozer, currently my favorite freshman of the year. The next game we're going to be talking about is UConn versus Seton Hall. This is a tricky game because UConn only won by 4 points the last time they played, but it was away. Now UConn at home is 7-2. Their last 10, UConn is 8-2. Now on the other hand, Seton Hall is 5-5 last 10, 7-5 away. Currently the spread is at 14.5. You know, even though UConn is not really the best at covering spreads, I think this is the game that they cover. They're at home. Seton Hall, not really a good team, not really a good away team, not good at covering spread. UConn, much better field goal percentage by 5%. I think UConn covers at home. The next game is Houston versus Colorado. Now, Colorado is 1-7 away this season and 4-6 last 10. On the other hand, Houston has been struggling, 6-4 last 10, but they are 16-2 at home. Now, spread-wise, both of these teams suck. But here is why I think the Houston Rockets will win. Houston Rockets turn over the ball less. They will rebound more. They will pressure. Defensively, they're better. Okay? Defensively, they're better. They're going to pressure them. They're at home. Now, covering 18.5 is a lot because the Colorado team, they can, score a lot of points as well. In this game, I'm going to pick Houston to cover at home. They've been doing really bad. They need to have a get-back spot. And this is the spot at home against a bad team like Colorado. I'm going to pick Houston to cover. The next game we're going to be talking about is Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt already beat this Kentucky team by 25 points the last time they played at Vanderbilt Stadium. Now they're going to travel over to Kentucky. Both of these two teams, 6-4 last 10. Vanderbilt, not a bad team away, 7-3. Now, I will pick Vanderbilt to win this game. Vanderbilt can score much more per game. Their field goal percentage is better. And here is why I'm going to pick Vanderbilt. Free throw-wise, they're 6% better than Kentucky. You guys know how college works. College is all about runs, all about making those free throws. And Vanderbilt does a much better job than the Kentucky. All right? And on top of that, they turn over the ball less. I'm picking Vanderbilt to win this game at Kentucky Stadium. The next game we're going to be talking about is Louisville versus Clemson. Clemson 5-5 last 10, Louisville 7-3. Even though Clemson does a phenomenal job at home, 13-3, I'm picking Louisville to win. They generate much more points than Clemson. And on top of that, again, they throw the free throw much better by 3, 4, 5%. And here's where I think Louisville dominates Clemson. Okay, number one, Louisville shoots the free throw better. Number two, they will out-rebound the crap out of Clemson, and they will make those free throws. And they will steal the ball and pressure Clemson. Yeah, I get it. Clemson is at home, which gives them a little bit of advantage. Maybe the first half will be close, or maybe the first half Louisville wins by a lot and Clemson keeps the game close. But I think at the end of the day, Louisville is a much better team. That is why they're ranked, and Clemson is not. And I'm picking Louisville to win. Now, the next game is Nebraska versus USC. Nebraska has only lost twice away games this season. I think they will cover the spread. Let me tell you why. First of all, free throw-wise, Nebraska is much better. And on top of that, USC fouls much more than Nebraska. So what does that say? That USC is going to be in foul trouble, all right? And Nebraska is going to take advantage of that and make those free throws. And on top of that, USC is having problems with turnovers. They're turning over 12 times per game. Nebraska only 9. That is 3 turnovers per game more from USC. I just see Nebraska being the better team, hence why they're ranked, hence why they're doing much better last 10. They're going to win this game and cover the spread. The next game that we're going to be talking about is Arizona versus Kansas. Now, this is a great spot for Arizona to get a revenge against the Kansas Jayhawks. They lost against Kansas at Kansas by 4 points. If you watched that game, I really thought Arizona would come away with the win, but Kansas played a great game. But at home, with the home crowd advantage, and on top of that, defensively, I think Arizona is much better. They out-rebound Kansas. They out-steal Kansas by 3 per game. And on top of that, they are better at field goal percentage by 4%. Now, where I see Arizona struggling is the free throws. When we watch and look back at the last game, we can see that Arizona struggled a lot with free throws. They were 57% from the free throw line, and Kansas was 84%, making 21 out of 25. So you're telling me that most of Kansas' points came, not most, but almost 1/3 of their points came from the free throw line. Well, Arizona will need to do a better job at the free throw line. If they do, they should cover the spread easily. That is my pick for Arizona to cover the spread. The next game that we're going to be talking about is ISU versus Texas Tech University. I'm going to right off the bat pick ISU to win at home. They're 18-0, undefeated at home. Spread-wise, here's where we have to talk about it a little bit more deeply. They're both doing a phenomenal job at spread. 7-3, 7-3. That's really good. But when we look more at the stats, ISU is shooting the ball 4% better than Texas Tech University. Free throw wise, that's where Texas Tech has the edge by 5%. Now, on the other hand, I'm going to give props to Texas Tech. But the problem is that Toppin is out for the whole season, and ISU has everyone. I trust ISU at home. I'm picking ISU to cover the spread. The next game is BYU versus WVU. I'm not going to talk too much into this. BYU is much better offensively, much better shooting the ball, less turnovers, will out-rebound them, all of this and that, better defensively, have taller men, will block the ball more. I get it, BYU has been bad lately. They're 4-6 last 10, they're 5-5 away. I get it, some of their players are missing, but they are the better teams. That's why they're ranked, and the other team is 16-12 for a reason. I'm picking BYU to cover the 1.5 spread, no question. The next game we're going to be talking about is Alabama versus Tennessee. I'm not picking who's going to win the game. Instead, I'm going to pick the over. The over currently is 162.5. Alabama scores 92 points per game, basically 93, because it's 92.9. Tennessee scores basically 81 points per game. On top of that, both of them are pretty decent from the field goal. They're 46% each. Now, the last time they played against each other, they scored 152 points. But when we look at that game, Alabama was struggling. They were only at 43%, and they weren't making their threes, 23% from three only. Alabama is much better than that. Trust me, I really have a good feeling that it's going to be an over game. I just do. They both score so much. Defensively, they're both ass. Sorry for my language. Tennessee, turnover 12 times per game. Alabama turns over 10 times per game. Sorry. Ooh, I am stuttering like crazy today. I need some water. But I just think that there's going to be a lot of points being generated this game. Over is my pick. Next game we're going to be talking about is Villanova versus SJU. SJU will be home. Villanova will be coming. SJU already beat Villanova by 7 points playing away. I think they're going to win by 6 points again at home. There's no question. I think that being at home, having bigger men, players that can rebound the ball more, having that home crowd advantage, SJU should win. Don't get me wrong, Villanova having a good season so far, but SJU currently, they have the edge in this game. They're 9-1 last 10. Villanova is 8-2. Not a big difference, but it's a big difference when it's a home crowd advantage, and it's SJU. The next game that I'm going to be talking about is Florida versus Arkansas. Now, this is going to be a very interesting game. They're both doing a phenomenal job last 10. They're both covering the spread very well. Now, when we look at this game, again, kind of like Tennessee versus Alabama, I'm going to pick the over in this game. The over is currently 166.5. Now, I'm picking the over not because they're both ass, because they're both pretty good, but because they're both very efficient, okay? Very, very efficient. Arkansas is shooting 50% from the field goal. Florida is shooting 47%. But where I can see a lot of points being generated is the fact that Florida turns over the ball too much, and Arkansas is going to take advantage of that. Now, the reason why I'm too scared to pick a spread in this game is because even though Florida turns over the ball 12 times per game, they're 15-2 at home. And Arkansas struggles a little bit away. But I don't think Arkansas will struggle scoring points because Florida turns over the ball too much. But then at the same time, even though Florida turns over the ball a lot, I think they will get back the points because they're at home. They have that home, court advantage. I think the over is a play in this game. The next game that we'll be talking about is UNC versus Virginia Tech. UNC is 8-2 last 10, and they are 17-1 at home. And Virginia Tech is 5-5 last 10, and they're 4-6 away. Now, UNC does a better job covering the spread, and on top of that, they've been playing a phenomenal job. The spread currently is 7.5. Guys, I think UNC easily covers this. They're better in every aspect except the free throws. But they turn over the ball less. They're going to out-rebound them. They're going to block the balls. I think UNC has better bigs. They have better shooters. There's a reason why they are ranked and Virginia Tech is not ranked. They're going to be at home crowd advantage. I'm taking UNC to cover the spread. The next game that we're going to be talking about is Gonzaga versus SMC. Currently, it's only 1.5 spread favor of Gonzaga. That is a steal in my opinion. I get it. SMC is undefeated at home, 16-0. But there is a reason why Gonzaga is ranked number 9 in the nation, all right? The only way SMC wins this game is somehow they foul bait the crap out of Gonzaga and goes on the free throw line. Because free throw wise, SMC is 10% better than Gonzaga. Well, if you want me to be really specific, about 10.3% better than Gonzaga. But Gonzaga is going to steal the ball more. They're better defensively. They're good at applying pressure. That's what I like about Gonzaga. And they're better at the field goal percentage by 5%. Now, I'm going to trust a team that is ranked number 9 in the nation. I don't care about being undefeated at home. I really don't. And the spread is only 1.5. I'm taking Gonzaga to win. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below.